The King held an in-person audience this evening with the Prime Minister for the first time since his cancer diagnosis. He told Mr Sunak he'd been reduced to tears by the messages and cards that he'd received. Well, our royal editor Chris Shipp is at Buckingham Palace where that meeting took place. Chris.
Yes, Marie, the first meeting between King and Prime Minister since the cancer diagnosis, as you say, but also the first time they've met face-to-face this year because the meetings have been pushed back to cater for the King's earlier prostate condition. We've just got these pictures in the last half hour. Let's have a look and a listen to what was said.
It's wonderful to see you looking so well.
Yeah, well, it's all done by mirrors.
Well, we're all behind you. The country is behind you.
No, because I've had so many wonderful messages and cards, and
I can imagine.
It's reduced me to tears most of the time.
Well, I can imagine.
And if you didn't quite catch that, the King said that it was all down to the mirrors, the reason he was looking so good, and all the messages of support that he's had has reduced me to tears most of the time. The two men then went on to talk about the spotlight that the King's diagnosis has placed on cancer charities and the good work that they do. Now, our cameras were allowed in there to film that very top of the meeting, and then naturally they were booted out because, of course, the weekly audience between the monarch and his or her Prime Minister are ordinarily very, very private. It's the moment when the head of state and the head of government get to chat about whatever they want. And I'm sure they did talk about the King's diagnosis, just as Rishi Sunak probably had to update the King about what's going on in Westminster, as we've been hearing. But this was all about Buckingham Palace, allowing the cameras in to show that the King, despite having cancer treatment, and we think he had his third bout of it today, it's all about showing that he's still able to do some of the affairs of state.